Tell them leave me alone. Swimming in my drip, two fishes in the pond. Tell them leave me alone.
We're gonna do this one the right way. Pisces. I don't wanna know your name, cause I might just feel your pain. Might just risk my life to keep you dry when it rains. Might just fall in love, a little hug can make me stay. Mystics make me soft, just like a moth to a flame.
Hi guys, so good morning and welcome back to my magical world. It's me, Frostbite Goddess, your favorite celebrity here in the Philippines. It's 2:13 in the afternoon right now. By the way, yeah, it's Saturday, it's Sunday. Check ko nga, pa tayo nalilito. It's April 20, 2024, yeah. I think birthday ng kababata ko. Hi Melody. So yeah, I'm just going to continue reading for you guys, and hayaan nyo na muna yung background ko. Sobrang lakas ng nila manood ng Netflix sa baba, and I cannot focus when I'm down there. So nandito muna tayo sa penthouse. Aray ng penthouse, sa 3rd floor guys. Parang kukunin na tayo ni Lord. Sobrang liwanag. Yan. Dami kasi ditong plants. That's why meron ditong ganito. Okay? Whatever. Let's start reading. Yan. Wait lang ah. To continue, we're reading page 207 and 208 of the book Mastery. So bear with me lang kasi yan. Okay na guys. So in 1955, Miles Davis, leader of the most famous jazz quartet or quartet, i-check nyo nga guys, hindi ako masyadong familiar sa mga ganito, at the time decided to take a chance and invite Coltrane into his group. Wait lang, nabasa ko na ba to? Hindi pa. Like everyone else, he knew that the young man was the most technical, brilliant player around. The result of so many hours of practice, but he also detected in his work something strange, a new kind of voice training to come out. He encouraged Coltrane to go his own way and never look back in the months to come. Davis would have moments of regret. He had let loose something that was hard to integrate in his group. Coltrane had a way of starting chords in the strangest places. He would alternate fast passage with long tones, giving the impression that several voices were coming through the saxophone at once. No one had ever heard such a sound. His tone was equally peculiar. He had his own way of tightly clenching the mouthpiece, making it seem as if it were his own gravely voice that was emerging from the instrument. His playing had an undercurrent of anxiety and aggression, which gave his music a sense of urgency. And by the way, galing ako sa work. Sunday daw may work, and I'm still facing unnecessary bullshit right now. So wala, I just have to go through it. Wala tayong choice guys for now. So let's dive deep into the bullshit. Anyways, I'm not gonna burden you with that, so continue. Although when we are put off by the strange new sound, some critics began to recognize something exciting in it. One writer described that came out of Coltrane's saxophone as sheets of sound, as if he were playing groups of notes at once and sweeping the listener away with his music. Also guys, I learned something like a few days ago, like how the power of numerology and combined with astrology, it's so crazy. Like everything is all about math in this world where a lot of you are skeptical and have different belief system, which is when you kind of like base it from factual things, there's a lot of bullshit on your belief system, in our belief system, diba? Again, it's all about programming, since from our childhood up until this moment that you are existing. So you're still learning. You have to learn and unlearn many things, guys. So yun lang yung key in order for you to find your own path or truth or version of truth. Okay? I'm not gonna tell you what it is. It's actually your job to figure it out. Kasi mahirap din naman yung, sabi-sabi. But some people just know. When you know, you know. Continue, guys. Grabe nang ka-etchosa natin dito. That's not etchosa. I'm, saying sometimes I'm saying I'm, telling you some jokes, but it's not really a joke. Although it was now gaining recognition and attention, Coltrane continued to feel restless and uncertain. Through all of his years of practicing and playing, he had been searching for something he could hardly put into words. He wanted to personalize his sound to the extreme to make it the perfect embodiment of how he was feeling, often emotions of a spiritual and transcendental nature, and thus hard to verbalize. At moments, his playing would come alive, but at other times, the sensation of his own voice would elude him. Perhaps all of his knowledge was in fact cramping and inhibiting him. So in 1959, he left Miles Davis to form his own quartet. From now on, he would experiment and try almost anything until he found the sound that he had been looking for. His song Giant Steps on his first major album of the same name was an exercise in unconventional music using peculiar chord progressions. The move in thirds with constant key and chord changes, the music was impelled frantically forward. So, yan. So, its third-related chord progression became known as Coltrane changes and are still used by musicians as a template for jazz improvisation. Basa na yung buko, guys. Yung table is still wet because of the rain. Okay? The album was a huge success. Several pieces from it went on to become jazz standards. By the experiment left Coltrane cold. He now wanted to return to melody, to something freer and more expressive, and he found himself going back to the music of his early childhood, Negro spirituals. So in 1960, he created his first huge popular hit, an extended version of the song My Favorite Things from the smash Broadway musical The Sound of Music. He played it on the soprano saxophone in a style that seemed almost East Indian, blending in as well a touch of Negro spirituals, all with his strange propensity for chord changes and rapid scales. It was a weird blend of experimental and popular music, unlike anything anyone else had done. Coltrane was now like an alchemist, involved in an almost impossible quest to discover the essence of music itself, to make it express more deeply and directly the emotion he was feeling, to connect it to the unconscious, and slowly it seemed he was getting closer to his goal. His ballad, Alabama, written in response to the 1963 bombing by the Ku Klux Klan of a church in Birmingham, Alabama, seemed to capture something essential about the moment and the mood of the time. It seemed to be the incarnation of sadness and despair. A year later, his album A Love Supreme appeared. It was recorded in one day, and making the music was like a religious experience for him. Yan. It had everything he was aiming for: extended movements that was as long as it felt natural to do so, and a trance-like effect on listeners while still containing the hard-driving sound and technical brilliance he was known for. It was an album that expressed that spiritual element he could not put into words. It became a sensation, drawing a whole new audience to his music. People who saw his live performances in this period proclaimed the uniqueness of the experience. So as the saxophonist Joe McPhee described it, I thought I was going to die from the emotion. I thought I was just going to explode right in the place. The energy level kept building up, and I thought, God Almighty, I can't take it. Audiences would go wild, some people screaming at the intensity of the sound. It seemed as if the music was from Coltrane's saxophone was a direct translation of some deep mood or feeling of his. Coltrane's saxophone was a direct translation of some deep mood or feeling of his, and that he could move the audience in whatever direction he wanted with it. No other jazz artist had such an effort on audiences. As part of the Coltrane phenomenon, every change he introduced into jazz was suddenly adopted as the latest trend. Extended songs, larger groups, tambourines and bells, Eastern sounds, and so on. The man who had spent 10 long years absorbing the styles of all forms of music and jazz now had become the trendsetter for others. Coltrane's meteoric career, however, was cut short in 1967, and when he died at the age of 40 of liver cancer. So in Coltrane's era, jazz had become a celebration of individuality. Players like Charlie Parker made the jazz solo the centerpiece of any work. In the solo, the player would pour out his own unique voice, but what is this voice that comes through so clearly in the work of the greats? It is not something we can exactly put into words. Musicians are expressing something deep about their nature, their particular psychological makeup, even their unconscious. Yeah. So it comes out in their style, their unique rhythms and phrasing, but this voice does not emerge from just being oneself and letting loose. Okay, cut na natin dun, guys. So we're done, and know that I'm so proud of you for having me. I mean, I'm having a it's not a rough time, but it's not an easy time for me right now. So it's more of like a transition from one era to another. So since I've told you that I've learned something relevant for the past few days when I was not with you constantly, I mean, I'm not posting, so I'm kind of like harnessing all my energy within me. So I'm just taking everything that is probably mine. So yeah. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for helping me make this world a better place for all of us and for the future generation. I will see you again. And medyo okay yung spot ko ngayon dito compared, kasi usually nasa maingay akong place. So ngayon it's peaceful. Not the peaceful, but it's kind of like the air right now. So the wind, yan. Sige na, guys. Bye. I mean, see you again.
Show me where's the crowd and I'll be proud to just obey. And if you're not around, then I'll be proud to take your place. I'ma roll this loud while I go down and relocate. And I'ma take a bow and then throw thousands in your face. I'm a G, I'm the centerpiece. You can't settle me. I repeat, we're my enemies. Tell them come and see. They retreat, I'm their water sign. Sweep you off your feet. In these streets, I'm here all the time. How come we ain't meet? Got some thoughts up in my head, now I can't sleep cause they cut deep. I keep talking.